Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Hip Hop Babies.
We back.
Bang, bang. You know what it is, man. It's your host, DeadLeigh, host of the most, and I got my boy Ray with me.
You know what it is.
First off, we just want to ask Ray, how was your mental, bruh?
It was great because we talk about
Playboi Carti.
King Vamp.
Music. Controversial that we would talk about music. It's not usually what we cover here, but Playboi Carti, he brings everybody together. He's a cultural icon at this point. I stayed up till 12 for this to drop. I stayed up till 2 even for this to drop. It came out at 6 a.m. Pacific time. You know what? We forgive him. We forgive him.
We let it slide.
I feel like Carti have had these massive buildups to their career since coming out really onto the scene in 2016. It's almost been a decade now, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is just one of those albums. Carti hasn't really had one of those albums that's been built up to as much as this one. I feel like, we had Die Lit. Whole Lotta Red kind of just came out of nowhere, I feel like.
People were waiting for Whole Lotta Red. It was a little bit.
Was it? Maybe I'm misremembering. But
no, yeah. Whole Lotta Red, I remember it was a thing where people were drop, and then he finally dropped it.
That's right. They've been fighting off leakers. We finally got something put together. I haven't really heard any of this stuff before. Sometimes people will be like, oh, I heard that Carti verse before, and he took it from there. This sounds like pretty much brand new music to me. So it's loose. It's an hour and 15 minutes, all over the place. But I swear it makes sense. Let's get into it, bro.
Bro, 5 years, bro. He made his way 5 years for this album, bro. The constant lies. You bought tickets, I remember, to the tour, right? And he just canceled that. He was playing. The whole album was called Narcissist at one point, right? And then just no updates. And then he finally was like, you know what? I'm calling it music. He basically was saying, I plan to drop it 2024. Dropped a bunch of IG singles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I liked them. Some people were like, why are you doing it this way? I thought it was kind of cool how he was just dropping it on Instagram, dropping it on YouTube. And if you wanted to check it out, you would check it out. But some people weren't satisfied, obviously. Me? Especially after Whole Lotta Red, I was a day one Whole Lotta Red defender. I enjoyed Whole Lotta Red when I first heard it. I like experimental hip hop. I feel like he did it in a way that was cool, right? I feel like he did it in a way that's I could see these songs being played on the radio, but it's different, especially for that Atlanta sound. He's Playboi Carti, bro. He's eccentric. He's different. He does a lot of things that other artists, I feel like if they tried to do, it wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying?
This project, man, it's interesting. It's just, you're not going to get anything lyrical from Carti, so you're always looking for something conceptually moves it forward, right? So I feel like a whole lot of Red with the way that he brought in all these different genres and whatnot and outside of hip hop, and he made this amalgamation, right? And it turned out to be really good. And, a lot of people from outside the culture actually liked that project. That was a fairly mainstream project. And then this one, I feel like, takes a little bit more from Atlanta, from mixtape era, down south, incorporating stuff like Swamp Izzo, first and foremost, our host. I feel like sometimes people get DJ Khaled, flashbacks when they hear somebody yelling on track. That's not what this is, bro. I mean, this is authentic. This is real shit. I feel like he really does it right. He does it much like DJ Drama does when they're hosting a mixtape. Gives it that raw feeling, gives it that energy. I could imagine myself at a show watching this. Swamp Izzo has to be there, bro. He has to be there. If he's not there, bro, I'm not going, bro. He's integral at this point. So
you ain't lying.
Just think about this man yelling on the tracks every time. And I feel like there's a right way to do it. There's a wrong way to do it. Definitely he's doing it the right way on this one.
One thing I was worried about, after 5 years, how are you going to follow up? Because Whole Lotta Red had a whole lot of energy to it. And I did love that he kept that going with this. For the most part, a lot of these songs have crazy energy. Like you said, the ad-libs. Sia, the evil laugh that pops up. I love that one too. It all adds to the aura. You know how people say Carti has aura. We sound crazy, but...
Nah,
bro,
I mean,
it's part of the music.
He's adopting all the slang, he's making it his own, bro. Trim, that's his own at this point. He's co-opting fine shit. He didn't spell shit right. It's supposed to be the Y, okay? He's trying to adopt. He's trying to, catch a wave or something, and I feel like he did a good job. That's kind of what he does. You just got those earworms and, shit that's going to stick in your head for a while. Just I'm just saying random lyrics from this album, head to toe. And it's not anything that's necessarily coherent, but it doesn't really matter that it is coherent. It's not really meant to be. Like I'm saying, like, it's conceptually, is he pushing the genre forward? Yes. And I feel like people don't always get that, and people like to be very close-minded and be like, well, hip-hop has to be this way. And for hip-hop to be this way, somebody back in the day had to be like, hey, I envision it to be this way. And they probably didn't have the best lyric. And you got to have people like Carti who over here just being like, throwing whatever. You need that sometimes, bro, because it just, the sounds and stuff, like the production on here is crazy. It's filthy, bro. Every song, I'm like, oh my God. Pop Out, bro. Like, we want to talk about like rock, like EDM, rap, fusion, whatever. That one was fucking crazy, bro. I got to have the speakers on low when I first listen to that track, right? Because I turn them up as time goes on. I hop in my car sometimes, I have it on shuffle, and that song starts, and I'm just like, oh my God, bro. Like an energy bolt down my back.
I feel like Pop Out was a bold choice, but I feel like Rockstar made, I think, right? And Rockstar made. Again, he's kind of letting you know, like, he's not playing it safe. He's going to throw it all at you at once, and you got to either adjust your ears, like you're saying, or be left behind. Even some of the songs, like, you would think would be more conventional. Like, he has Travis Scott, he has Future, he has Kendrick on here, but he makes them fit in his world in a sense where they're not doing too much or overstepping to take over the track. Crush, I like Crush because of the vibe. I like the choir that pops up, and I do think the beat on there is nice. Now, I will say that it did kind of feel like a long interlude, especially when I first heard it. I'm like, okay, I thought the beat was going to drop more or it was going to be something else, but as I continue to listen to the album, I was like, I like this because, again, right after Pop Out, it just adds that, like, okay, we get into this, bro. Like we're saying, it's the aura, bro. It's just like, bro, like, what's going on? Like, you get Travis Scott on the track, right? And you just make him say, Shuddy gonna make me gush. That's like, what?
Yeah, no,
it's moments like only he would do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like K-pop was the interlude part, honestly. That was the first sleeper of the album, bro. I was like, damn. Really? Yeah, it wasn't
I fuck with K-pop.
It's not that crazy. As far as like the beats go and stuff, I feel like that's one of the more chill beats, and it's a short track, right? So it goes by pretty fast. And he's got like one verse, you know what I'm saying? There's some parts in here where it's like he didn't fully flesh out this idea. Yeah. And, it's still a little rough. Like I'm saying, it's like he's not going to flesh out everything. It's going to sound kind of raw. It's going to sound mixtapey. A lot of Wayne influence on here. So expect a nice mixtape feel. And we just don't drop mixtapes on DatPiff anymore. They drop on DSP. So you kind of have to discern as a music fan nowadays for yourself. Okay, was this meant to be like a studio album? Or was this meant to be like a mixtape? Was this meant to be an EP real quick, People call anything an album nowadays.
And I also just believe that even if it is, just like with Call Me If You Get Lost, right? That gave you mixtape vibes, but he kind of like made it an album. And I think that one was put together a little better as far as like the flow. I will say that one thing that we do say, right? We want people to bring their sounds back. We want people to represent their coast. And like you said, that ATL sound, that ATL mixtape vibe, even if you want to, just say like this is an album, it adds to that, to me, to a certain degree, because a lot of these songs, even some of the samples, like on like WEEZY, he's sampling like Atlanta classics, right? Or he's doing something that sounds like a southern track, right? And he has Swamp Izzo yelling shit on it. You know what I'm saying? It gives me that old vibe, like you said, of being on DatPiff. You download something, you got the DJ dropping the soundboard sounds and shit, and it's like you go off and say whatever you feel, right? Yeah. It was an Insta single. When it dropped on Insta, people called it Ketamine. I like the rock vibes. I actually have a quotable. This bitch ain't got no vision. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to her. I just been feeling myself. I found Jesus, Christian Dior. That was smooth, right? He has his little moments now. Was that the most remarkable line? No. But it was hard though, like especially the way he says it. It's the way he says it. It's the way he emphasizes things.
I just found Christian Dior. Yeah. I mean, he's got it, bro, right? But I'm just saying, like on certain parts, it's just like it's not fleshed out. It's not as good as the other parts. I mean, people have said this, I think, on like Twitter and shit. But I've seen people were saying Pop Out was supposed to come before Evil Jordan. So I was like, what was supposed to be the intro? Like, if he had Crush on the beginning, like I felt like that would have been a great intro. And then maybe have, Pop Out leading to Evil Jordan. You hear a long fade out on Pop Out, and then it's kind of erupt to Crush. And then on the intro to Evil Jordan, it's kind of like a minute long. And then it has that like drop, right? And it's like Doesn't really make sense. I wish that flow and stuff was kind of working a little bit better in the beginning, but I like most of these tracks, so it really doesn't take away too much. Evil Jordan, that's another one of the singles.
Evil Jordan goes crazy, man. I like that when he posted that one on, I think it was either YouTube or Instagram.
The aura is just off the chart.
It's another level, right? But yeah, Evil Jordan, I like how he added the intro. I saw some people giving him some shit for it, but I feel like it added to the vibe. The gunshot was funny, but when I'm just listening to it, it flows. And he was ripping that track. That flow on that track is crazy. Again, he's not saying hella crazy shit, but when you listening to it, like you said, in the car, on your headphones, just slapping it, like, bruh, that beat is insane too. Like, what the hell?
He's not saying crazy shit yet. For me, honestly, one of the biggest complaints on here is just he's not clever, bruh. So, like, sometimes when he just says stuff, I'm just like, why are you saying that? You know, he's just like, he's just saying whatever. Why you gotta say it so plainly? You can't do nothing with that. You can't freak it a little bit. Sometimes for me, I'm just like, it's a little too plain. I'm just saying that, you know, sometimes when I hear the stuff, like, and we're like, ooh, we like the rock sounds on here. Yeah, but like classic rock, like 80s rock and stuff, like when they were doing the lyrics and stuff, like the lyrics were like really clever. Even if they weren't like rapping and like saying technical shit, like at least the choruses were clever, or they were saying stuff like innuendo. Sometimes it's the opposite, but I'm saying like the songs that lasted over time, you know, like the classics, right? He's not making classic music here. This isn't classics.
Okay, hold up. Yeah, I can't say it's a classic yet. I mean, I think Whole Lotta Red, I'm not going to say it's a full-blown classic.
You say it's a cult classic.
You know, especially Carti fans, they say like that's a classic Carti album. Sometimes I forgot who it was, but they kind of compared it to metal, and sometimes metal, you're just aggressive and to the point. You just say how you feel. And sometimes with this, I feel like it's almost like he's playing with like the metal rock star, but the hard, like in your face. Sometimes, like you're saying, vulgar. Like no way some of these lines would fly on the radio unless it's Carti, right? Because it's like he's so out of pocket sometimes. Like, what are you talking about? Before he dropped this album, you know, he posted the features. He was trying to keep Kendrick a surprise, but eventually everyone knew Kendrick was going to be on here. And Mojo Jojo is the first time it pops up. Especially when the album first came out, you know, the track list came out, and on Apple Music and Spotify, I think you didn't see the features. Now, if you went online, you saw it. But when he popped up on Mojo Jojo, I was kind of surprised. I was like, okay, this is different. The ad-libs, K-Dot on the ad-libs.
It was different. He's done that before, though. I mean, he's had other times when he was doing, like, Black Panther.
Schoolboy Q. He did it with Schoolboy Q a few times.
Yeah, he did with Schoolboy Q. You know, he does the ad-libs well. And that takes a lot, you know? Like, a lot of rappers like to be competitive and like to do this. And, like, I feel like Kendrick's, like, one of the only rappers who is so above and beyond, right? That he can just take the backseat and just add a little bit to the track. Like, he just knows how to play a role, like, so well. Like, he can be Jimmy Butler, take his team to the finals, or he can be Jimmy Butler number 2 to Steph Curry, and he can be out here taking his team to another championship probably this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. I liked it a lot. I know a lot of people didn't, but I liked how it kind of reminded me of Family Ties, where he was doing the back and forth with Baby Keem, and he wasn't taking himself, you know, too seriously. I feel like he was trying to have another one of those moments, you know. Did it work the same? Probably not, but, you know, he went for it.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. Like you said, you don't need a Kendrick verse on every song, especially because he pops up later on Backdoor. I like Backdoor. Actually, Backdoor, I liked it when I first heard it, but it's grown on me, that hook with Kendrick and Janae on the hook. Carti's verse on that was alright too, you know. He talk about how, you know, he's with a chick, you know, she's a good girl, he's a monster, she's gonna leave him on that shit, and then, but whatever happens, she could always come through the back door, or you could go through the back door, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was a cool little melodic Carti track, you know what I'm saying? And to get Kendrick to do the hook was dope. And then he gets an actual verse on good credit. And like a real verse. It wasn't like he was messing around trolling. Like, he gave Carti a verse, right? What'd you think of good credit?
He was still trolling a little bit, bro. Like, you know, he was doing the repetitive stuff and, like, you know,
when he started doing the laugh, when he started acting like he was tripping out.
Well, I mean, he was going into a crazy flow pocket right there, and then he interrupted himself with that. So I was like, man, I felt like he held back a little bit on there. He could have said more, but, you know, he let it breathe, and I feel like he didn't want to, like, take away from the entire project. I feel like if he did do too much, it would have took away from it. And that's what I'm saying. He's like perfect role player because it takes a lot to not have to do that. And he still had some timely lines on there, still had some things that he had to say about, you know, about Drake, how, you know, he had to remind everybody that he's heavy out west, like he's Luka Doncic. You know, that was hard.
I was saying, it was still hard.
No, it was hard. It was hard. It's just not like if you listen to a Kendrick project and you get a Kendrick verse, you know what type of verse you're getting. If you listen to a Carti project and you get a Kendrick verse, you get a completely different side of him, which is okay. I love Backdoor. Backdoor is one of my favorite tracks on there.
Yeah,
I feel like that note that he hits is just like crack breath. Every time that song comes on, I'm hitting that note with him. So good.
Yeah. And on good credit, I like how, like you said, you did jab at Drake. He brought up how he's pointing like ASAP Rally, because, you know, he's suing UMG about the diss tracks and everything. And I did like how he did the drop, because everyone was telling him drop. And then when he dropped, now everyone was mad at him for dropping, or like, you know, it's all falling out because he just rapped. He didn't talk stuff online. He's still not talking stuff online or posting subliminal posts or nothing. He's just rapping. That's how it always is with him, and I appreciate that. Another dope verse on here on Toxic, Skepta. He's 2 for 2 with Carti. I really loved him on Lean for Real. That's like one of my favorite Carti tracks. So to hear he got him back, and not only that, it worked. The only thing about this track though, Toxic, is that when I first heard the album, like I said, I didn't know the feature list. I thought it was Future and him like going off and on, because Future is on this album, so I didn't know where Future would pop up. You know, Carti's doing the deeper voice. Sometimes it sounds like Future, not gonna lie. I don't think it's like he's biting, because he's still doing like the Carti shit. He's not like rapping and flowing like Future per se, but it does the voice, you know?
Yeah, it definitely. He has a couple of them on here. It was hard to tell like who's who, you know, even for somebody who already knows how to listen to them. Like even Travis Scott and Carti. Unless there's a song like Philly, where on Philly,
Philly, yeah.
I'm gonna say something. You like the song, but I'm gonna say something real quick. I don't like how it feels like Travis Scott song in the second half, bro. It's too Travis Scott. It's just like he isn't as versatile or experimental as he used to be. And he's not been doing it. It's like commercialized, packaged up real nice, being like, here you go, here's the Travis Scott verse. And I'm going to be like, ooh, I had this 50 times already. I'm good. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? So
you're not wrong. The reason why I think I like Philly is because compared to the other tracks with Travis Scott, Crush, but like I said, Crush is like a different vibe. But this was like a fully like developed song to me. And even though I get what you're saying, where it's like, well, Travis, the second part really felt like a Travis song more so. I feel like because they're so different in a sense that it worked for me. And it was cool to hear Travis Scott be comfortable, because sometimes when he pops up on here, it's not like a fully fledged like Travis moment. It's just like, what was on the other song where he kind of popped up? Charge Him Hoes a Fee.
he's just like, it's lit.
Yeah, he popped up like real quick. So it was cool to hear them fully together. And it worked. I like the beat on there. Cardo got wings. He did a great job on that beat. So, and again, the deep voice. I like Carti's deep voice. I like when he does the different voices, the different flows on the track. But when he does just do the deep voice, it works for me. I know you're saying like the first part of this album, the flow sometimes is inconsistent. I feel like the second part, where he does do like some of the high pitch, and then he goes, I feel like later now, he really focuses on like the normal / like deep voice. I feel like it starts to flow.
Yeah.
Like to me at least, you know what I'm saying? Like you have a consistent tone, you have a consistent vibe. It's working. At least for me, it was working a lot later on in the album. I like the early part too, don't get it twisted. I'm just saying like as far as the album flowing, to me the second part was flowing a little better.
I mean, that's fair. I wouldn't say that that's not accurate. There's so much in the beginning. Like we got 30 tracks, right? So in the beginning, you get every Kendrick Lamar verse from 15 like and before basically. So, and I love all those. I love the Skepta one. We didn't even talk about Rather Lie. The Weeknd can sing about committing treason against his government, and they wouldn't lock him up. They'd be slapping it. It'd be the national anthem, actually. They'd be like, oh, USA mentioned? Yeah, let's make that the new anthem. That's what would happen. Me and the boys, we cannot. So we're not singing this song. I would not. I would not rather lie than lose you. I'm telling the truth.
But it was catchy. He performed this at, I forgot where he did, but they had performed this before, so I had heard some of it at least. I'm not going to say I've been there, but you know, some people say, you know, they rather maybe not tell the whole truth, or, you know, try to do certain things to keep the relationship going. We know Carti's toxic. We know The Weeknd makes toxic tracks, as we're saying, so I thought it was interesting. The second verse I thought was better than the first. The only thing about this track is that allegedly it might be AI used. I don't know how much.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how legit that is.
That's for the Carti part, huh? Yeah.
It's interesting. I think that song has the potential to be the biggest hit. I know Evil Jordan right now, I think, is number one. I just think because there's a lot of energy on that track and like people wanted it on streaming. Rather Lie though, over time I could see lasting because the weekend and just the vibe of the song. You know, I could hear that on the radio.
Yeah, I can feel that. I'm thinking if anything's gonna be like the top track after a long time, it's gonna be Backdoor and Toxic. Those are
Okay.
probably top 2 tracks, and which is crazy because like you got a bunch of other Kendrick Lamar features on here. You got The Weeknd on there. You got Future on here. You got Lil Uzi on here. There's stars all over this thing, so it's hard to really say what's gonna be what. But the fact that we can sit here and disagree on what we think are going to be like the most long-standing songs on here, I mean, bodes well for like the album and like the quality of the music. It's not just some trash. I'm not recommending you go listen to some fucking garbage. I genuinely like the music for like 95% of it, you know. And then there's some parts where I'm just like, I don't really like it. Even like the parts that I don't really like, sometimes it's like it's too repetitive, but like in a way, it's like the DJ got the soundboard and he's just spamming like ad libs or spamming like sounds like the dun 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 dun.
Bruh. You talk about that OPM baby, man. I like that track.
They were just adding sounds and instruments, bro, on that one.
I know. Hey man, you know I like my noise rap. That's my noise track for this album. The gunshots, the ad libs, the crazy beat, what he's saying. This ketamine, huh? This not enough. See ya. The flow on that song is crazy. Like, I don't know what he was doing. And then he just started going, like moaning at the end. I mean, like I said, I like that track. The Swamp Izzo, like spamming, swamp. But the energy, people compared that to like the underground, super noisy beats. But then you have the flow and like the vocal effects going crazy. It did remind me of that. And I like that sound. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, even though we kind of OG now, we talk about that. I still kind of am tapped into the underground. So it was interesting to see him try to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
keep it real, bro. You wasn't funny.
I mean, it was all right, bro. It was all right. It wasn't that good. The beat was good. The beat was great.
Crazy.
Some of the stuff he was saying was like funny, and then I don't know. He was just doing too much riffing for me on there, especially at the end when you said he was quote unquote moaning on the track. Yeah, that wasn't for me, dog.
I'm like, Doug, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like the vocal inflections. It just gets stuck in my head. I don't know what it is about that track.
It's a clippable song. It's definitely gonna have like some clips and some stuff that you're gonna
to
be able
me,
to use
for sure.
But like, I don't like it as a whole. You know, it's not working for me. So that's fine though. I can listen to Crank. You know.
Oh yeah, Crank was dope.
You know,
I like Crank.
Now we so older. My bitches are older. Driving the cold blow. You know, my bitches are popo. My vibes are tougho. I leave her slams the dope.
Free throw.
Yep. Free throw. Swamp. Free throw. Swamp.
Swamp. That's what I'm saying. Even that over the top. Why are you just saying free throat? Like, what are you talking about? She wants to money before she get but he's like,
okay, but he says free throw.
I thought it was free throat.
It could be one or the other.
The energy on that one was infectious. Munyon was before that. I thought Munyon was okay. I think for me, that could be the one that's kind of skippable or like forgettable, right?
Yeah.
Same for you?
Pretty much. I mean, that one, I could also say I See You Baby Boy is not even that crazy to me, bro.
Ooh, I like that one. That reminded me of some old Carti shit. The beat is nuts too on that one.
But the beat on most of these is crazy. So it's like I'm comparing it to the other tracks where I actually get something out of the verse or get something out of the chorus. And this one wasn't given that much. So.
Sia. He was saying Sia on that one a lot too. Yeah, Fine Shit was another one. I know people were...
Oh, yeah, we missed that one, huh?
Again, another one where he could have maybe been using AI, and it does kind of feel, at least for me, it kind of felt lifeless. I understand why people like it. It's kind of catchy. Fine Shit's not one of my favorite tracks. You see how you're saying, I See You Baby Boy. For me, I felt like that with Fine Shit. It's not really something I'm going to be probably going back and playing that much. Maybe it'll change with time, but... What about you? You like Fine Shit?
It's cool. I like it in the context of the album. You know, it's not too long. Okay. It's only like, you know, a minute 40, something like that. So I like it in the context. I wouldn't say it's like a playlist song. There's not like a bunch of playlist songs on here. I say there's a good like maybe 10 to 15 if you really like the album, which is about half. You know,
yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot, but it also could be seen as he's shooting 50%. You know, so like. Some of the stuff needs to be in the album. Like some of it doesn't fit outside of it, and that's okay. The songs that I'm saying that I don't really like that much or that are like whatever, I'm saying that because I'm not going and seeking those songs out by themselves within the context of it. They're fine. They work. They do what they need to do. They don't overstay their welcome most of the time. And if anything, you can just skip them and you'll find a good track on the next track. So it's not that big of a deal to me.
Yeah, Wake Up Filthy is kind of like that for me. I don't know. You might like that one more, but I thought that was nothing crazy. And again, Travis Scott. That's why I feel like I like Philly a lot more, because it just felt like that one worked, while tracks like this one, you know what I'm saying? It's not my favorite.
Drugs in my body. Oh, yeah, let's go. Hoes in the lobby. Oh, yeah, let's go.
Go. Yeah. Man. And then you got Jumpin'. The reunion, him and Lil Uzi Vert, has been a minute. I don't think they've collabed on an album since Shooter. Yeah, that was a good one. I like the hook.
Pink tape, pink tape, pink tape.
Pink tape.
One lamb, three straights, red bone. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Uzi, I like his flow on that.
Tony Tiger, great.
He was flowing better than a lot of the stuff that was on Pink Tape. Since he brought it up, I did like to hear him feel like he was trying on that, you know? Maybe it's because him and Cardi, you know, he's like, let me pull out a good verse for my homie.
This is an old lyric or whatever, because he's bringing up being a narcissist on here. Yeah, so this is probably one of the original tracks on here. So I liked it a lot. I don't know if I like this one better than Twin Trim, though.
But Twin Trim was just Uzi, you know? And I thought that was cool that he just gave Twin Trim basically to Uzi. Like, Uzi, you do your thing.
Cardi and him, like, together, like, yeah, it's great. Like you're saying, I can listen to Cardi all before this, and then I get to a little Uzi track, and it just kind of breaks it up, and then I get to go listen to another Cardi track. Like, that works fine, too, because if I'm listening within the album, I'm getting sandwiched with two Cardi verses anyway, so it works just fine. But I felt like Uzi had more range to do what he wanted to on Twin Trim. Even though I liked his approach on Jumpin' for sure.
I know you like Trim, the track Trim with Future. That was your favorite track with Future, huh?
Not Twin Trim, but just Trim.
Yeah, you let Future rip that.
When he started that, it was sounding like I Never Liked You, you know? That Chicken's flow or whatever, you know? Like, he just had it on that one. Ye is tripping, bro. He said he's washed, bro. I don't know. We ain't listening to the same album, bro.
I thought Charge Them Hoes and Feet was cool, but Trim was the superior collab, because he let Future rip it, and then even Cardi himself, he came with that manic, crazy voice at the beginning, and then he kind of like was mixing it in. I thought that was a cool track.
Yeah, he has a weird ass voice on that one. It was great. The beat was great, especially when like after we get through the first verse and then we get into the chorus. Like there's like some like alien shit going on in that part, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. After that, bro, we get into one of the most lyric devoid songs, Cocaine Nose. Shout out Ashanti, you know, for giving this man.
That was a rock star song though, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was talking to my homie, he said that was one of his favorite tracks. So that's what I'm saying. There's something for everybody on here. You know?
I get it, you know, he's doing his little thing, but
he's wild.
There's not a lot, bro, you know. Her man Johnny Dang in Houston sipping drank on muscle, which think cigarettes for the pain. I'm saying it obviously way more dull than he's doing, but like it's just like there's not a lot there. If you're not really fucking with like the flow or whatever he's doing on there, you're not gonna fuck with the track. But that's how I feel for most of them. It's like if you're not fucking with the vibe, if you're not fucking with the flow, you're not really gonna fuck with the track because you're not gonna find anything from the lyrics that's gonna actually do anything for you.
You brought up vines. We need all the vines with him and Thug and Ty Dolla $ign. I thought it was random. Ty Dolla $ign was on the track, but he
Absolute cinema, bro.
He had to sprinkle them in there, as we say.
Oregano.
And you said Absolute Cinema? Yeah. I thought it was a solid track. Young Thug's free, so it's cool to hear him back on stuff again.
It was great, bro. I thought like he couldn't outdo what Thug was doing on there or Ty Dolla $ign was doing on there because Thug just, man, he just writes gospel, bro. He just spits it, you know? It's crazy. Like, he's, like, not really singing within his vocal range too well. Like, you really, like, I don't really like when my rappers are singing and all that. You might not like this one, but I fuck with it when he gets loose like that and does whatever. And then...
It's the vibes, like I said.
Yeah. And then Ty picks it up, you know, it's like the perfect baton pass, you know, like that girl whacked that girl in the head, you know. Ty just took it over like that. And it was crazy. And then after that, Cardi came in and delivered one of his best little verses right there too, and he like did a little pass back to Young Thug. I thought that was just crazy how they did the song composition. That pussy ooh all up in my place, you know, like he was just going crazy. That was one of his best baby voice moments was on this track right now.
I liked Olympian a lot. I was talking about old school Carti vibes a little bit. I thought that one kind of gave me, something I'm kind of familiar with from him. Yeah, I like the beat on it was nice too. Yeah, Olympian was a highlight. Was that a highlight for you?
Yeah, I want to know why he was shouting out Riverdale though, bro. What does he know about Riverdale, bro?
It just added to the aura, I guess. Like WEEZY, another highlight for me. I like WEEZY a lot. Yeah, he says a line on here. Got a hoe trying to ride with my gang. Every time she pop, it stank. You got too much money to be riding with the ladies that stank, bro. He's just wilding. That's what I'm saying. That track was just a lot of energy.
She riding with the gang, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
That's why she stank, bro.
Again, a fun track. We talk about the Wheezy, Lil Wayne influence, and it was all over that one. I think that's what made it kind of stand out to me. The hook too, two-tone AP, like Wheezy, like it got stuck in my head instantly. We getting into the flow because this one got it. Unless I have my order mixed up, this one got it after that, and I like that. I know it's repetitive, it's simple, it's a deep voice. Molly Perkins, I feel so invincible, and vitamins and minerals. And then the beat at the end, how it just starts chopping and stuff. I really like that song.
Terry. Ooh, yeah, I'm killing them.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Okay, so ball. I was gonna bring that up. I thought that was a funny reference. Walk. I thought Walk was cool too. What did you think about Walk?
This one, it's not bad. It's just another like little 90-second, little something. I feel like from like Jumpin', like WEEZY, those are like really, really good fleshed out tracks all the way through for the most part. And then I feel like when you get into this end right here, I just feel like a lot of it is just kind of like filler and just like whatever.
Okay.
He's not doing too much, and then he put the single in there, Habayer.
HBA, yeah. That was cool.
But like that one was already done. So it was like, okay, well, I've already heard this.
All my friends is dead. Put them in a coffin, put them in a thunder.
I mean, I liked Overly too, but like it's just like...
I liked Overly.
Top flow. Top flow, flat flow. Another one of those tracks where I'm just like, okay, it's only like 90 seconds. I feel like at this part of the album, even though it does like flow because he's like doing a lot of similar stuff, it's just like he's kind of going to a bunch of different places and he's not really wrapping it up. And then South Atlanta Baby is a good closer. Really wraps it up all together, just like you got Swan Bizzo talking on there. This cements him in a new genre or whatever, new category. Just being like, appreciate the music, and the music is timeless. Timeless. Thought that was cool. Good little close up for the track list. And I can't say anything overstated is welcome. I can't say that I didn't really fuck with anything too hard. I liked everything on here. Just some stuff wasn't as developed or it wasn't as catchy as other things. But overall, I felt like as far as like mixtapes go, raw ideas, this is like top of the line. I mean, people look at this scene in particular for a reason. And I get it if you don't like Carti. I didn't like Carti at first either. I didn't like a lot of the artists I liked at first, So it's just like, cool. You don't like it, but just know that the music you're going to hear 5-10 years from now, a lot of it's going to call back to a lot of this is going to call back to a Whole Lotta Red.
You think so? You think it's going to be influential?
100%. And I wouldn't call it classic, and I don't think I'll ever call it classic because I just don't see this music as being as like polished and like what I would want it to be calling something a classic album. But the ideas, just the idea of Carti, this is why he gets that mysterious aura bonus point, whatever, is because just the ideas that he drops, like people eat that shit up and replicate it immediately. He's always got to change what he's doing. He's always got to do something else, and that's why I can't ever really hold him to the same standard as everybody else, especially with like drop time, right? Like he hasn't dropped for what you said, 5 years.
5 years.
The leaks, bro. Like if your shit's getting leaked all the time, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, that's why Whole Lotta Red took so long, because I got a whole album basically of Whole Lotta Red Volume 1, Volume 2. I listened to his leaks.
You got to start cutting the grass. You got to start cutting people's heads off at this point.
Yeah,
bro.
Something's going on. Leaking this shit, because I know some of these tracks, some people online were saying like, oh, I've heard this before. I've heard this part on another leak. Like you said, most of this, if not all this, was new besides the Instagram singles or something I saw him perform live on like, a clip. I did see him, but this was like way earlier. I did see him at Camp Flock Now, and he did do the singles. This is definitely going to do good live. This is definitely going to be like an energetic, just like Whole Lotta Red. Like people are going to go crazy, I think, when he performs these songs. And also not only that, like you said, depending on how it goes, I can see this being another wave of like, it could be influential. It could be more people trying to, just keep it loose, keep the aura flowing, right? And that would be interesting to see, but I don't want people biting Carti because usually it just doesn't work.
People say they want fun in hip hop. You know, fun doesn't always have to mean lyrics. You know, like the lyrics on here aren't that fun. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, like if you're looking at it for like clever, no. He's saying something that's out of pocket that like your drunk friend says at 12 a.m. that makes you kind of giggle. I get it if you're like, this is too dumb. Honestly, bro, like it's gonna work for like crowd settings. It's gonna work for like concerts. I had a friend go to Rolling Loud. They enjoyed their time there. Looked like a lot of other people were as well.
I recommend this. I mean, I can't recommend it to everybody though. I think if you're, more of a old head or you have that mentality where you want bars, like he says on this is kind of fresh. He feels like it's like a new genre. You can't put him in a box, and I agree with that. So you might not like it all, but I think you're gonna leave here with something unless you're looking for, like I said, more in depth or just like a rapper that's gonna not make a verse full of ad libs almost sometimes. But for me, I like the energy. And it sounds really, really good. The beats, even like Swamp Izzo and the other people hopping on, doing little sounds and stuff. It just sounds fresh. So yeah, this was an enjoyable listen. And we'll see what happens as time goes on. I mean, I might like it even more. It might die down and be like, man, it's not lasting. Because Whole Lotta Red lasted for me. DeadLeigh. I didn't like DeadLeigh at first. I had that effect with DeadLeigh. And then it grew on me a lot throughout that year. So we'll see what happens with this one.
I mean, all the sounds on here, like you said, they're fresh. The vibes are good. The energy is transferable. Like I'm charged up when I'm listening to it. You know what I'm saying? And then there's some songs where you can just smoke to them, So it's got both sides to it. Clearly, you're supposed to be doing ketamine while you're listening to OPM, baby.
It's ketamine.
It's not enough. You're going to find something on here that you like. If you don't like vulgar music, okay, well, it's not going to be for you. That's fine. But I feel like most of us in here are grown enough where we can be like, all right, bro, I see what he's going for. And I'm just letting
I see you, boy. I see you, baby boy.
I see you, baby boy. I'm going to get my top 3 tracks real quick. My number 1, I'm doing Backdoor, 100%. Backdoor is going to be played forever in my car. Number 2, I got Toxic. He replaced Future. It's great. He cloned him. Skepta did great. Number 3, I'll go with Trump. Okay. Because just because the Future verse, I was gonna say either that or We Need All the Vibe. I will say real quick though, because we didn't get to talk about this at all before you give yours, that we are both extremely disappointed that Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, and Homicide Gang are kept in the closet, bro.
They would have fit on some of these tracks for surely. It's kind of surprising. Hopefully his next project, he's acting like he's going to drop a whole nother project. We'll see how it goes.
The fuck, bro?
Where they at?
What's your top 3, bro?
Number 1, I got like WEEZY. I like the energy on that one. But yeah, like WEEZY has been stuck in my head. Number 2, Backdoor. I've been playing that one a lot too.
Backdoor.
Mm-hmm. Not doing too much. Not doing too little on that track. It's a good balance. And then my number 3... Bro,
OPM Baby, bro.
No, I'm not. I like Opium Baby. I'm not a hater. I'm gonna go with the one that instantly caught my ear. This one got it. Like I said, I know it's super repetitive, but I love the beat on that one, and I feel so invincible, bro. It makes me feel amped up. Like I can see myself working out or like doing something active with that song. So
facts.
If not that one, Olympian. You can maybe swap those. We'll see.
That beat's crazy, bro.
Olympian's crazy.
All right, man. Well, that about does it. So thank y'all so much for watching this review. If y'all got this far, you are real as fuck. I need you to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure y'all check out this Carti album, man. Music. He is music. Thank you, Carti, for dropping this album. Took you a long time, but I'm glad that you don't lie to us.
He does lie. He does lie to us, actually.
Thank you so much, bro. I really did like this album. I've been nonstop listening since it came out. I haven't really listened to anything else. So I've been very excited to review this, and I'm glad I could get this off my chest. So thank you to Ray for being a gracious co-host, letting me get my thoughts off and opinions off and not calling me out for too much today. He usually gets me for a lot more. So I felt I got off easy today. And with that being said, I'm going to send it to Ray.
Yeah, shout out DeadLeigh as usual. Appreciate you bringing different perspectives as usual. Keeping it lit. To everyone watching, thank you. We appreciate you. Don't be afraid to leave your feedback. Carti, if you're watching, keep oral farming if you want. Whatever you're doing, you know what I'm saying? As you see, My only thing is, I would like to see maybe more diverse features. Maybe use some of the people from your camp.
100%.
I do agree with DeadLeigh sometimes. He did make some shorter songs that could have maybe been longer, and maybe some of the longer songs should have been cut a little bit with some of the ad-libs or, the beats. But for the most part, you did your thing on this one. I'm not one of those people that are like, drop, drop, drop now. So it was cool to see you take your time. I just don't like the lying and the delaying and then just like acting like nothing happened. But
I didn't even want to bring it up, bro. But I mean, I was supposed to be at a concert last.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? So
I know you appreciate your fans, but it should be a little more, communication. Sometimes it feels like you being pulled along sometimes a little bit, right?
We was talking a little bit about Rolling Out. Rolling Out was not as lit as it could have been, as if you were just to go on tour when you're supposed to, bro. So it's like that shit pisses me off a little bit, because like I seen the crowd and I'm like, bro, I would have been so hype watching that shit. Yeah. So lit, bro. And I've only been listening to it for a couple of days, but like imagine what the tour would have been like.
So hopefully, I know he's touring with The Weeknd. Maybe he'll do his own thing and actually do it. That'd be nice. But yeah, keep doing your thing. Shout out to all the producers on here as well. Y'all killed it. The engineers, everything. Y'all brought the sound together. Even though it's all over the place, it came together well. And with that being said, peace.
Peace.